Welcome to this edition of the Precision Fly of the Week. We're going to tie the Hare's Ear soft hackle. Start your thread. I'm using 12-aught Semperfli Classic Wax in dark Mocha. Lay down a base layer of thread on the shank of the hook. Bringing it all the way back up just short of the eye. Here we're going to use extra small gold wire tied into the side of the shank and bring it all the way back to just before the bend. At this point here, start building a slight taper with your thread, covering up the gold wire. Don't worry too much about covering it all because the hare's ear dubbing will pretty much cover everything. Put on some Hareline Hares Ear dubbing. You could utilize a variety of different colors. Dark also works really well. As you apply the dubbing, build a small, thin tapered noodle. It helps if you add a little bit of wax or just wet your fingers. Wrap that dubbing noodle forward. I usually stop about the 3/4 point on the hook shank so we can build in the thorax. If that dubbing noodle starts getting loose, then just wet your fingers a little bit, pinch it together again to get it tight. Don't worry too much about the dubbing being super tight. The messier and buggier this fly gets, the more effective it'll be. We're going to brush a lot of it out anyways. If you got any of the dubbing sticking forward and it's crowding the eye, go ahead, just pull it back, build a little thread dam in front of it, and they'll fix it. I'm going to take that small wire and do counter wraps, add a little bit more durability to it, and then tie it off right where you ended the dubbing. With a couple of wraps in front, a couple of wraps in the back, and then once you get it secured, just do helicopter wraps to break the wire off. Grab your dubbing brush, Velcro, brush, whatever your favorite tool is, and start teasing some of these fibers out. We're going to give it even a more buggy appearance. Next we're going to tie in the thorax. I like using Peacock herls straight from the eye. They're a little bit fluffier, just right below the eye there. Grab like 2 to 3 strands. Snip off the tips, which are really fragile. And tie in the herl onto the shank. Depending on how full your herl is, you only need to do 2-3 wraps to build up that little thorax. Tie off the herl with a couple of thread wraps in front, a couple behind, and then trim off the excess. Next we're going to tie in the hackle. I'm using a small little Hungarian partridge. If you don't have Hungarian partridge, you could also use hen. It helps to preen the barbs slightly forward, gives you a good tie-in point. Tie in the Hungarian partridge with a couple tight reps. I like to pull the barb slightly back, that way it's a little bit more secure, and then trim off the excess. Be careful not to cut your thread or the hackle itself. Grab your favorite hackle pliers. Before you wrap, it helps if you wet the barb slightly and pull the barb points to the rear and then begin making your wraps. You're only going to want to do 1, max 2 wraps. Sparse hackle will work a lot better than a full hackle front. And then tie off the Hungarian partridge with a couple of thread wraps in front, a couple in the back. When you trim off the excess Hungarian partridge, be careful that you don't cut your thread or cut the hackle that's already wrapped. Lay down a few more thread wraps to clean up the head of the fly, cover any of the partridge barbs that may be showing. Grab your whip finish tool and do 3 to 4 turn whip finish. Then snip off your thread. We're going to finish the head of the fly with some Solar Res bone dry. Gives it a little bit of added security on the whip finish, plus it gives it a nice little shiny head. Grab your light and then cure it. This classic pattern is really easy to tie, works in a variety of different water for many different species of fish. Try it in different colors and sizes, and let us know how you do. Thanks.